are quickly dropping mask mandates. Illinois, one of the latest. Governor J.B. Pritzker unveiling plans yesterday to end mask mandates indoors by the end of. All right, well, blue states are quickly dropping mask mandates. Illinois, one of the latest. Governor J.B. Pritzker unveiling plans yesterday to end mask mandates indoors by the end of February. But the rules aren't lifting for everyone. Kids in schools will still be required to keep their masks on. Joining me now is Illinois Congressman Darren LaHood. He is member of the House Intelligence and Ways and Means Committees. Congressman, good morning to you and good to see you. Your reaction this morning?
Well, we need to end all mandates in Illinois. And the only reason why J.B. Pritzker made the decision yesterday was because a judge last Friday issued a 29-page opinion that was well-authored, talking about how these mandates need to go away. All of these decisions should be made at the local level by locals. And unfortunately, J.B. Pritzker has not gotten that. On the school issue, I worry about a generation of kids we're leaving behind, Jackie.
Yeah.
Their mental health issues. It makes no sense to continue to have them masked in schools. That needs to end. But unfortunately, J.B. Pritzker and a number of these other blue state governors continue to put politics ahead of the science.
Yeah, and of course, the CDC is sticking to its masks for children in schools policy right now. And that's part of the confusion, too. We've been talking about this all morning, how there are mixed messages. One group says this, an administration says that, a governor says that. People just don't know what to believe. But I think one of the reasons you're seeing some of these leaders change their tone is because these mask mandates have just been very, very unpopular. And they don't want it to stain their, how they appear to their voters.
Well, that's exactly right. And remember, we're in an election year here, and they're hearing it from the people. Everywhere that I go in my district, people want this to end. And they're very, very frustrated by governors like J.B. Pritzker that continue to not listen to the people. Today, many of us are calling for an end to all mandates. That should happen, and let these decisions be made at the local level. Illinois is a very diverse, large state. We have smart, bright people. We're resilient. Let the local people make those decisions and not Governor J.B. Pritzker sitting up in Chicago making these decisions. And that's what's frustrating to a lot of people. And frankly, I think it'll be a huge issue in this election.
Yeah, like you've got Glenn Youngkin in Virginia saying parents should decide. You can make the choice about your child. It's up to you. And so many people, fighting him on that as well. It's been interesting to watch this play out as we head into the third year, of this pandemic. But Congressman, while I have you, I also want to talk about House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Now she is pushing a bill to ban stock trading government-wide. She's also including some demands of her own. We have a soundbite here.
It has to be government-wide. The court system, the third branch of government, the judiciary, has no reporting.
Now, she is changing her tune. She has previously shot down this idea very vigorously, claiming that it's unfair to exclude lawmakers from playing the market, even though they do have access to advanced information that could be materially impactful. Her husband, Paul, has raked in millions of dollars from the stock exchange. Your thoughts on Pelosi's about-face here?
Well, what I'm wondering is why we're in the fourth year of Nancy Pelosi being Speaker, and why is this being done now? This should have been done on day one. When I think about my constituents in Peoria, Illinois, they don't have access to privied information and then be able to go trade stocks on the stock market and make money off that. This has been going on for far too long. It should have been addressed 4 years ago when Nancy Pelosi came in. And frankly, it's a bit embarrassing that this hasn't been addressed and something done about it. There has been broad support, particularly on the Republican side, for taking action on this. It needs to be done. This is one of the things that drives people crazy about Congress, that they can use this secret private information to then go trade stocks and there be no ramifications for it. So this needs to change. I think if a bill was brought to the floor tomorrow by Pelosi, it would pass overwhelmingly. But again, here we are, with pressure finally building on her and it being an election year that she's finally taken action.
Yeah, that seems to be impacting and motivating a lot of people to make certain decisions. Congressman, Democrats passed a bill last week that they claim helps the United States compete with China, but you're slamming this bill, saying actually it helps China. Tell me more about this.
Well, it's unfortunate because there are many members of Congress that in a bipartisan way want to do something about China. And if you look, the Senate passed a very bipartisan bill that addressed many of the issues related to China. It came over to the House, and then it turned into a partisan, almost a mini Build Back Better bill. It addressed more about climate change and diversity than it did on China. When we think about what we need to do, China is an existential threat when it comes to national security, when it comes to technology, when it comes to trade, when it comes to human rights. We ought to be addressing these things, but unfortunately it was hijacked in the House, turned into this bill that even the Biden administration didn't even put the name China into it. And that's very, very frustrating. And so what we've said is we ought to be focused on the CHIPS Act, bringing domestic chip manufacturing back to the United States. We ought to be going after China as it relates to Taiwan and Hong Kong. We ought to be going after China on their theft of intellectual property and technology. None of that was done in this bill, and we were left with a very, very